Hello students, today we are going to continue with the chapter Chemical Coordination and Integration. In today's class we will study few more endocrine glands along with their functions. The first one of today is parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland, usually here the name indicates that is thyroid. It is attached with the thyroid. Okay, so here we say that parathyroid glands, they are 4 in number and they are found attached with the thyroid gland. Okay, so now just have a look over here. Parathyroid gland, these are small glands present in the human neck and produces parathyroid hormone, or we call it as parathormone or PTH. These are 4 in number and they are situated on the posterior side of the thyroid gland. Each pair of parathyroid gland is situated in the lobe of thyroid gland. As you know, there are 2 lobes of thyroid gland. Each lobe of thyroid gland contain 2 parathyroid glands. So, and its work is just opposite to thyrocalcitonin hormone. Already we have discussed about the calcitonin hormone, thyrocalcitonin or calcitonin. That is, it increases the absorption of calcium ions from the blood and decreases the level of calcium ions in the blood. But when we are talking about parathormone, this hormone reduces, or we say this hormone, it acts opposite to the thyrocalcitonin hormone. That means it increases the level of calcium ions in the blood. So here the star point is the secretion of PTH, that is parathormone, is regulated by the circulating level of calcium ions in the blood. That means it increases the concentration of calcium ions in the blood. Now, what is the role of this parathyroid hormone? Parathyroid gland, it increases, the first you can see, it increases the level of calcium ions in the blood. Second is that it stimulates the reabsorption of calcium ions by the renal tubules, or we know that the nephron, that is the ascending limb and the descending limb where the reabsorption occurs. So it stimulates the reabsorption of calcium ions by renal tubules and absorption of calcium ions from the digested food. That is, during the digestion of the food, when the food is absorbed in the intestine, then absorption of calcium ions increases. Then it acts as hypercalcemic hormone. Hypercalcemic hormone means that it increases the level of calcium ions in the blood. Where the concentration increases, then we call it as hypercalcemic, and where the concentration is decreases, then we call it as hypocalcemic. So here this parathyroid gland, it secretes parathormone, which act as hypercalcemic hormone. That is, it increases the level of calcium ions in the blood. And when there is a decline in calcium ions in the blood, then this parathyroid hormone is stimulated and it is allowed to release from the parathyroid gland. So here we have checked about the parathyroid gland. Now we come to the next, that is thymus gland. As usually you have studied about this thymus gland, it is situated near the heart. It is situated in the near the heart, and this thymus gland, it secretes the hormone which is known as thymosin hormone. This hormone is responsible for the immune system. The size of thymus gland when the child takes birth, during that time the size of thymus gland is large. But according to the age, as the child increases with the age or turns into an adult or in the old age, during that time the person's thymus gland, its size decreases. As the size decreases, the same here comes with the constant secretion of the hormone. That means reduced in the secretion of the hormone, which results in weaker immunity. So now here you can see over here that thymus gland, it plays an important role in the development of immune system. It is a small lobular structure situated on the dorsal side of the heart and the aorta. It is soft, pinkish, bilobed mass of lymphoid tissue. That means it is a lymphoid organ, and it is meant for immunity. Okay, so it is a soft pinkish bilobed mass of lymphoid tissue and is a prominent gland that degenerate with age. Thymus gland secrete thymosin hormone. Thymosin, when released in the blood, has stimulating effect on the immune system of the body. It also promotes production of antibodies to fight against the infection. That means it is responsible for the immunity, and the production of antibodies helps in fighting against the antigens or pathogens and protect the body from diseases. It degenerates with age, due to which regulation of thymosin hormone also reduces. So what will happen when along with the age, which as the person increases in age, the size of thymus gland also decreases. Along with that, production of thymosin hormone also reduces, which results in weaker immune system. So this is about the thymus gland. Next we talk about is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland, as you know, that this is a small cap-like structure present over the kidney and is responsible for secretion of two hormones normally we have studied in 10th standard, that is adrenaline and noradrenaline. So here we discuss further or in detail about the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is what? It has our body has a pair of adrenal gland, each located at the anterior part of each kidney. That means we have already studied that each kidney has a cap-like structure, and this cap-like structure is what? It is just the adrenal gland. These are conical yellowish bodies composed of two types of tissues. One is the adrenal cortex and the other is the adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex, it forms the outer region and medulla forms the inner region. So first of all, we'll discuss about the adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex is pale yellowish tissue and it is divided into three layers. The outer one, when we talk about the three layers, the first layer we talk is zona reticularis. Zona reticularis. So here the word reticularis itself denotes that it is forming the network. Reticularis word comes from reticulate and it means network. So this layer, zona word is for the layer. So this layer is what? It is the inner layer of the cortex region, and the cells of this layer, they are arranged in a net-like fashions. Then second layer is zona fasciculata. It is the middle layer of the cortex and it is the widest of all three layers. That means the larger portion is zona fasciculata. Then the third layer is zona glomerulosa, or we call it as the outermost layer, which is composed of 5 layers of compactly arranged cells. So these are the 3 layers of adrenal cortex: zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, zona glomerulosa. The hormones which are secreted by these 3 layers of adrenal cortex, they are collectively known as corticoids. Collectively, they are called as corticoids. Now, I will discuss about the functions of these. First hormone is aldosterone. First hormone of adrenal cortex is aldosterone. It regulates the balance of water and electrolytes in the body. Electrolytes here means the salt concentration. So aldosterone, it regulates the balance of water and electrolytes in the body. It is mainly acts on the renal tubules, stimulating the reabsorption of sodium ions and water. We know that we have already completed with the chapter excretory products and their elimination. In this we have discussed that renal tubule is meant for reabsorption of water and salts. So this role of reabsorption of water and salt is done by aldosterone, because aldosterone acts on the renal tubules, which increases the absorption of water. So it mainly acts, that is aldosterone, it mainly acts on the renal tubules, stimulating the reabsorption of sodium ions and water. It also stimulates the excretion of potassium and phosphate ions from the body. That means we know that sodium and potassium, they work both opposite to each other. When sodium ion is reabsorbed, then potassium ion is excreted out. Okay, so here we say that it also stimulates the excretion of potassium ions and phosphate ions from the body. Next, what are the different other functions of aldosterone? The here, maintaining electrolytes, that is electrolytic balance, salt balance in the body. Body fluid volume, that is the amount of water in the body is maintained. Then the osmotic pressure and blood pressure of the body. If the blood pressure here, it is maintained by the water only, as the water absorption is done, the blood pressure is also maintained. Now we go for the next hormone, that is cortisol, which is secreted by the adrenal cortex. Cortisol hormones, they regulate the metabolism of carbohydrate, fats and proteins. They helps in the metabolism of carbohydrate, fats and proteins. And what are the different functions? Just have a look over here, that it stimulates liver for the synthesis of carbohydrates from non-carbohydrate sources. That means cortisol, it acts on the liver for the synthesis of carbohydrates from non-carbohydrate sources. Next is inhibition of cellular uptake and utilization of amino acids. Means it prevent the cell to take something. Okay, it inhibit the cellular uptake. It doesn't allow the cells to take any nutrient content or any food, and it helps in the utilization of amino acids. Next, it is involved in the maintenance of cardiovascular system and proper functioning of the kidney. That means it acts on the heart and kidney so that these two organs can work properly. The next is cortisol. It stimulates the production of RBC, that is erythropoiesis. It helps in the increase in the production of RBCs. It produces anti-inflammatory reactions and functions in suppression of the immune system. So when the body becomes hyperactive during that time, it helps in suppression of the immune system. Next, we discuss about the third hormone, that is androgen hormone. Androgen hormone is also secreted from the adrenal cortex, and it is produced in a very small quantity. This is called as sex hormone in both males and females. Androgen hormone is secreted, or we say it is produced in a very small quantity in both male and female, and these hormones are secreted as DHEA, that means dihydroxyepiandrosterone. It acts as a precursor of both testosterone and estrogen. As you all know that testosterone is responsible for developing secondary sexual characters in males, and estrogen is responsible for developing secondary sexual characters in females. And these hormones, they are secreted during the puberty time. So now what are the functions of androgen? We'll just discuss over here that it plays major role in the growth of body hairs during puberty. That means these hormones, they are responsible for the secondary sexual characters. So what are the secondary sexual characters? The first one is the growth of body hairs during puberty. Second is the development of acne on the face, and it plays an important role in the development of embryo. That is, in the females, when the embryo development occurs, it helps in the development of embryo or fetus in the mother's womb. Now, what the disorders we'll discuss about the disorders. What are the disorders caused due to these hormones of adrenal cortex? The first one is the Addison's disease. It is caused due to the deficiency of aldosterone. Next is the Cushing syndrome, and it is caused due to excess of cortisol. Third is adrenal virilism. Adrenal virilism, it is caused by the excess of androgens in female. As a result, development of male secondary sexual characters develop in the female, such as beard, moustache, etc. Though the person is what? Female, but due to the excess secretion of this one hormone, androgen hormone, Male secondary sexual characters develop in the female body as like beard, mustache, etc. Now we talk about the hormones of the adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla lies in the center of the adrenal gland. It secretes two hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Adrenaline is also called as epinephrine and noradrenaline is called as norepinephrine. Okay, so now here we discuss about the activation of adrenaline and noradrenaline, how these two hormones get activated. As we have already studied in the 10th standard that these hormones, they are called as a stress hormone or emergency hormone. They are secreted when we are tense, when we are in danger. And due to their secretion, that means these hormones, they act on our body parts like heart and lungs. Heart and lungs, due to this breathing rate increases, heartbeat increases, body temperature increases, metabolic activities increases, breakdown of carbohydrate increases. As a result, due to the breakdown of carbohydrate, glucose digestion also increases, which provides the person more energy so that the person can cope up with the situation, either fight or flight. And for that, energy is required. So that is the role of adrenaline and noradrenaline. Now we'll discuss about this activation of adrenaline or noradrenaline. Both hormones, they are secreted in response to stress or danger and during emergency situations like fall in blood pressure or sugar level. That means when the blood pressure decreases or the sugar level decreases, during that time you have observed the sweating occurs, the person breathing rate increases. So that is the emergency condition during which these hormones gets activated, and these also acts on the increased respiratory rate. That means they acts on lungs and heart and they increases the respiratory rate. Central nervous system at the time of danger, it stimulates the adrenal medulla to release both these hormones. These are also known as emergency hormone, stress hormone, fight or flight hormones. That means when we perceive danger through our eyes or through our sense organs, then the message is transferred to the central nervous system at the time of, because it has detected the danger. Now, central nervous system, it stimulates the adrenal medulla to secrete these hormones. Now, what are the functions of these hormones? That is, it increases the alertness. The person becomes more active, alert. Dilation of the pupil of the eye becomes dilated. Then raising of hairs and legs. So when we are danger or something, what will happen? Our body hairs used to raise up. So that is the raising of hairs of hands and legs, that is called as piloerection. It increases the heartbeat, increases the rate of respiration as it acts on heart and lungs. So rate of respiration increases, heartbeat increases. Due to this increase in the respiration rate, more oxygen enters inside our body, and this oxygen is utilized to break down the food in our body so that more energy can be generated. So here next is breakdown of glycogen. Glycogen is the reserve food present in our body, in the body of the animal or human being. So this oxygen which is entered, it acts on this glycogen, means this glycogen first is converted into glucose and then this glucose is digested by the help of oxygen. So breakdown of glycogen to increase the concentration of glucose. The next is stimulate the breakdown of proteins and lipids. Means here maximum energy is required where the breakdown of glycogen occurs into glucose. In the same way, amino acids or proteins and lipids, these are also allowed to break down so that maximum energy can be provided.